Whoa!
Bam, 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 bam! And we're live, people. How we doing today? It's Tuesday.
And it is a very, very special Tuesday indeed. We have so much going on tonight, so much to talk about. I'm Chris Shem at Titletown Griller, and the man, the myth, the legend, the birthday boy at Dark Side of the Grill, Mel.
Yay!
Happy birthday,
boy. 40 can fuck off. Just going to start right there. 40 can fuck off. This was silly.
Wake up? Are you a little bit more sore today? Your knees hurting?
You know what I did, Chris? I went to Hot Pot and I ate enough for 4 people. Even the lady was like, just you? And I kept ordering. She's like, just you? All I could think was James Gandolfini, my last meal, right? Everything now, it's like, is this my last meal? I didn't get on the Peloton like I should have. Is this going to kill me?
Yeah. You sent me those pictures and you're like, yeah, this is my pre-dinner.
Yeah, we went to Red Lobster. I got the ultimate feast. I did all of that. That was my pre-dinner, Chris.
Living large.
The hot pot with like 6 courses was the pre-dinner to the ultimate feast with the escargots and the... This shit's either going to make me a way better cook or it's going to kill me, one of the two. So
I tell you, man, that feast looked incredible.
Oh, it was a good time. Yeah, I got to get on that Peloton. That's the thing is, the last time I bought any workout equipment at all, the wife buried it in laundry, and I never saw it again. And then I had to take it apart. It was brand new still with the stickers. I had to build it. Took me half a day exercise I didn't want to spend to build it. And then it took me half a day to take it apart and get it out of the house.
Yeah.
But I broke even on it. I broke even on it, so there's that. I'll take that. But, yeah.
Well, hey, what a great day.
That's it.
Before we bring in our special guest today, let's just announce the special news that we have for After the Cook.
There you go. Do it.
You can actually find After the Cook and some of our archived episodes on Apple Podcast.
There we go.
Search for After the Cook podcast, and it will pop up. You may have to scroll down because it just went live. We don't have very many ratings left. Subscribe to it. Give us the 5-star rating so more people will find it, more people will see it. It is also on Amazon Podcasts, and I'm not sure about Spotify yet. So wherever you get your podcast, check it. We have, I think, 9 episodes already uploaded, so you guys can see us, listen to us on your way to work. 8 episodes are already uploaded.
Awesome.
Listen to us on your way to work. Listen to us while you're working out on your Peloton. Listen to us in the shower.
That's it. You know what? If you come across it, tag us in your stories, right? That you're listening to it and we can share it. Yep. We got to get some reviews in there so that we can get up there and start, making more of these massive guests like the big fish tonight, the barbecue Buddha. He's about to release a book. It's crazy. We got to get him in here. But we're going to have guests like this all the time. We need people reviewing this shit, so get on it.
Subscribe, review us, give us those 5 stars, and yeah, it'll be fun. And you guys can hopefully be able to take us with you on different trips and stuff. So you don't always have to be here live. We'd love to have you live, but if you want to play it back later and kind of revisit some of the stuff we talked about, you have that option. So
or let us make your work not suck. How about that? Right? I don't care if you're a brain surgeon, you're moving parts around, whatever. I make you chuckle. It's good. It's all good. Let us make your job a bit better. How about that?
Yeah.
And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Sussman. Da-da-da-da!
So
there he is.
Can people hear me?
There he is. People can hear you and see you.
All in glory.
Look at that.
I hear an echo. Can you hear an echo on your end?
No,
we're good now.
No.
Well, what's great to hear an echo is the lights behind me and the echo. I feel like I'm in a Pink Floyd video. What?
I was gonna say that laser light show behind you. If you got some dude walk across that water right away, I'm turning this thing off. That's it. Oh look. Yeah, exactly. How you recognize me without my sandals on?
It might be one of the dogs walking across the water.
Yeah, that's it.
Love to see Yoda or Obi. Just give her.
Yeah. I would bring them out here, but they're asleep. And it's actually obnoxious. Obi is on this little bed under a bench with a blanket over him because we have the windows open tonight. It's so chilly. It's like 65 degrees here in Florida. Sorry. And so he's chilly and he's sleeping on his little bed and he looks so cute.
We were thrilled it hit 59 today. All the kids were outside in T-shirts and they were loving the life. And 59.
That's a big swing.
Beautiful.
59 is great.
Yeah, we'll take it. Well, Chris Sussman, ladies and gentlemen, at the BBQ Buddha, one of my oldest friends.
Cheers, everybody.
Let's join Mr. Mel in a.
We got to sing happy birthday.
Oh, we're doing one of those?
We need to immediately sing happy birthday.
Happy
birthday.
So, Mel, this one's for you, buddy.
Happy birthday, Mr. You. Happy birthday, Mr. President.
All I got's a fine china left, boys. But that's cheers, brothers. Thank you.
Cheers, buddy. Love you. Happy birthday.
Oh, there you go. Some Blanton's for the old tickler right there. Beautiful.
For those of you who don't follow at the BBQ Buddha, first of all, shame on you, and I don't believe that you're out there. Second of all, he is Big Green Egg extraordinaire, partners with Snake River Farms, as well as Dizzy Pig Seasonings. Those are going to be, I think, some of your more prominent partnerships that you have.
Those are the big ones. I really wanted to focus lately on working with a smaller number of people that I really loved and believed in their product. And so easy stuff to do with those three. As you know, being all fellow BGE team greeners.
Correct.
Is that a term? BGE
I
team
so.
greeners? Should we, is that even hashtagged anywhere? If not,
it is now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just put it out there into the universe and make it true. Yeah.
So Mel, we all saw you cook. We saw you do your thing while you were on your vacation. Everybody saw your live, which was fantastic, by the way. I kept trying to get in a question, and somehow every time I would get in the question, you'd turn away to do something, and you turn. But you answered it later. So tell us about when you got back in your high-speed chase across the highway. You were telling me about today.
Oh, man. So I don't know what it is about coming back home to Alberta, especially this season. But by the time we go home, there was 3 inches of snow, right? Fresh snow. It was blizzard. So halfway through, it's summer. The mountains, it's summer. Everything. Calgary, it's summer. As soon as you pass Red Deer, it's blizzard, right? The mother-in-law is sitting next to me. Oh, God, you're going to kill us. You got to slow down. I'm like, I just want to get the fuck home, right? I'm doing 145. I'm like, keep your shirt on. We're almost – and, we've been together for 5-6 days now. It's, so whatever. We made it. I shaved like 2 hours off. The last time going out there, I got caught by the cops. I got a huge speeding ticket. So this time, knock on wood, we made it all right. But
I'm curious, though, 145 to you is not 145 to us. You measure the speed of your driving differently than we do down here in the United States of America. Yes? You're in kilometers, correct?
I will have to look up what 145 is in miles. Hold on.
Yeah,
I think it's like 55, which is... I think it's like 55, which makes the story great. You speeding at 55 miles an hour with your mother-in-law.
90.9. 90.9 miles.
Good.
Okay.
Oh no, I truck her, but I truck her good. It's yeah.
I get it.
You had that Hummer flying. You had that
That's
H2
respectable.
No, you don't take the Hummer on those trips, man.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, no. I got another truck for that, a Dodge. It flies Laramie, right? Or Lariat. It's a nice, just easy gliding. It's a fat boy truck. I really, the Hummer would not with the mudders. Are you kidding, man? It would cost me like $1,000 to get to Calgary. Never mind. It's crazy.
That's
Yeah, so that's what it takes to travel, man. It's always want to get there, get back. I never really. It's not that I don't like the driving, but if there's a better way to do it, I'm gonna do it.
Especially on the way home.
So something that.
What's that, Buddha?
Something you just said struck me. You say Calgary. We down here say Calgary. So is it Calgary or is it Calgary?
However it suits you. I hate saying it. It feels dirty coming out of my mouth. I say Calgary.
Calgary sounds dirty. I must admit it. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about the pronunciation, but when you said Calgary, it sounded naughty to me.
That's Calgary.
You know, that's
Calgary
similar to
sounds like a hockey team.
Yeah.
That's
but they're not.
How Wisconsin people refer to Illinois as Illinois.
Illinois?
Yeah.
That's Illinois.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people say Louisville. It's not Louisville.
It's Louisville?
Louisville. You say it like you're drinking bourbon.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Well, that's what they say about Narlands, right? New Orleans. Narlands. Yeah, see? I love that.
Narlands.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're home safe and sound, no speeding tickets.
No speeding tickets.
Okay, she just celebrated her birthday recently. I saw that.
Yeah, so everybody's nice and happy and calm now, and it's done. It's done. Back to work, back to the grind. But it was a really good vacation. Really good. The deer were like on the deck, turkeys everywhere. Just it's a neat place. If you picture the great outdoors with John Candy, it's actually like it is that cabin.
Right.
And everything around. Like it's winter right now, so the bears are hibernating. But there's signs all over like don't feed the deer, don't feed the bears, don't be a dick. Like
But everybody drives around being a dick, feeding the deer and the bear.
That's
right. Or do they respect that up in Canada? In America, we see those signs. We drive around. We're like, yeah, I'm a dick. I'm feeding the bears and I'm feeding the deer. Dick.
Oh, I love it.
That's fantastic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we love to just sit and chat with Chris Sussman, the Barbecue Buddha, but we also wanted to bring him on because in just a few short weeks, he is releasing his first of what I hope is going to be many cookbooks.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your upcoming book?
Thank you. So often you get, especially people like us that do blogs and create recipes for a living, I'll get approached, or I have been approached a few times with book opportunities, but they have the book already written. They want a Kamado book written, or they want a grill book written, and they basically say, you've got these 20 beef, these 20 pork, these, and here's what, in other words, you're like a paid content creator. And what I really liked about the deal with Page Street Publishing is the book that I have coming out April 6th. You can pre-order now on Amazon. It's called The 4 Fundamentals of Smoking. And what I really like about it is the very first part of the book, first half, is a narrative. So I'm not the end-all be-all. Anybody that's cooked with me or worked with me knows that I'm not Mr. You do it this way, you do it that way. But I like to learn stuff, and I even more like to teach the things I learned. So the 4 fundamentals are really just these 4 constants that I think once you master in barbecue, especially as a backyard barbecuer, it will make any recipe, anything you do from that point forward, make more sense to you, which in turn makes you better at what you do. So and then there's 40 plus recipes that sort of reinforce it. And that's it. Oh, and it's for 3 different grills. They wanted it was odd. I work for and with Big Green Egg, and you would think it would be an all Big Green Egg book, but no, they wanted me to write about Traeger cooking and Weber Smoky Mountain. So I really applied the 3 grills I've worked with the most: the Weber Smoky Mountain, the Traeger Timberline, and the Big Green Egg. And I talk about the 3 ways that you think about these 4 fundamentals, and then I apply those things to the recipes.
Nice.
And that's the book, April 6th.
Oh, I can't wait, man. I am so pumped.
And I love that. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I have a big collection of cookbooks. but I don't follow recipes. So when I get a cookbook, I like to look through it. I like to flip through the pages. I like to pick up on different techniques that they might be able to get from them. The newest cookbook I got was from Lennox Hastings, and the first 85 pages in that are not recipes. You know, kind of like you said, it's a narrative. You know, his focus is most on live fire cooking, so it just gives you a different idea of fire, how to control fire, how to make fire. You know, like I'm really looking forward to your book just to kind of pick up on the. I mean, we've cooked together, so I know how you kind of cook, but I just kind of your thinking and being able to kind of explain that thinking to other people, I think is really what's going to be helpful for people who, you know, might not want to follow a recipe exactly, but by breaking down the fundamentals of what you can do and how you can apply that, I think that's one of the neatest things that you can really kind of get. It's kind of a way for them to kind of pick your brain without you being there.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I mean, the thing for me is you teach people the foundational blocks. You know, for me, these are the biggest questions that I sought to get answered for myself. You read recipes, and it's like cook it at 250 degrees for this long, and then you wrap it with this material, and then you cook it, and then you do this. And I'm like, okay, I do that, and it works. But after time, sometimes it worked, and sometimes it didn't. Well, what was the variable that caused that? And how do I think about that? If it doesn't work that way, how should I think it through so I can get a better product at the end? And most importantly, is I didn't want to just be a slave to this religion of barbecue, foil, paper, fat side up, fat side down. I sought to answer for myself, why do people make these decisions? And in turn, I'm trying to teach all of you what I have found out, which helped me, which I hope and think will help you.
I'm pumped. I'm pumped to read it, man. You're absolutely right. Not too many people tap into the back end of these things, right? And if they do, they're usually coming from a scientific point, and then it loses itself in the translation, right? To hear a chemist talk about why a brisket gets a smoke ring, no one wants to hear it. You want to hear a guy who smokes briskets explain, but he'll just like blankly
and explain.
Yeah.
Right. The thing is that you need to learn some of that science, but how do you in turn communicate those scientific things to just your average everyday backyard barbecuer that doesn't want to know chemistry and science? They just want to say, okay, here are the two things that are impacted by temperature variance.
Yeah.
And variant is a very difficult word. Sorry, I should have said differences. It sounded too scientific. But anyway, it changes in temperature. And how do you think about that? You know, what does it do to this type of meat versus that type of meat? So if you have this kind of meat and you cook it at a higher temperature, why does it work better than this other type of meat? They're really simple compounds when you break it down. And if you could teach it to somebody in an easy way, something they can relate to, then they have that aha moment. Well, this is why I want to try my brisket at 250 the next time, or 275, or, you know, what happens? What are the things that happen? I saw it to answer some of those. And I may have gotten some of it right. I may have gotten some of it wrong. The biggest thing about doing a work like this, as we all know, every time we put a piece of art out, a post, sponsored or not, part of art, we're putting ourselves out for critique, right? A book is a big thing. It's a lot of words all in one place. I'm nervous as holy heck for people to read this and all the negative criticism. But one thing I always do, anybody leaves a negative comment, I just say thank you, because unless it's a really bad negative comment, then I might get into it a little bit, but I usually don't. I was digressing there. That's it with the book. And I really want, my hope is everybody sees that I'm not the end all be all, but I'm on this journey with you. That's what the Barbecue Loot is all about. Let's figure this stuff out together. Here's what I've learned. See if it helps you.
Yeah. No, and that's like, without the backstory, like, we've cooked together, we've done some personal time. It's fantastic, and that's all I can picture is, like, if I could take Chris and put him on Campbell's deck, right, in the middle of the night, and explain what was happening with those steaks off of a page of a book, it would be you that would explain it. And that's
right.
Yeah, it's deadly. And I can't wait to get into it, because It's awesome.
And it's, I'm trying, and we may still, but April's a little early. I'm going to be doing most of the events virtually, but I really want to get us all together. I think it would be cool to have Big Green Egg and some of the people sponsor, all of us to get together and really celebrate the year of coming out of COVID and the book and your success, and Chris had this show and being on Apple Podcasts. That's a big deal. It's hard to get on Apple, and you all did it. That's a really big deal. There's a lot to celebrate other than the fact we could leave our house and put on something other than pajamas.
Yes.
There's a lot to celebrate.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to kind of reading that narrative aspect of your book too. It's because, I've been friends with Buddha now for 6-7 years. Since
Long time.
Been on Instagram, he was one of the first guys I started talking to, and even when I look to see how you've grown over that time, it's awesome. I mean, yes, you were always putting out good food to start, but I mean, just how your style has evolved, and one thing I really, really liked about your style is you're very similar to me in that I'm not a traditional barbecue style cook. I can cook the traditional barbecue, but I like to add different flavors to it. And that's one thing that I've always admired about you is your ability to take, that ribs or brisket or pork butt and say, okay, yes, I am able to make just the plain old barbecue style, but what can I do to make it more Buddha-like? And one thing I always liked about you with that is that Buddha-like always kind of takes a little bit of not always, but often takes an Asian style twist to it. And those are flavors that I really, really like to play around with. So I'm really interested in seeing kind of your take on that too.
And the book does that in multiple elements. I mean, I love Korean style cuisine. You get some of that Korean barbecue sauce I've come up with, and I've done my wings. I do spare ribs in the book with that sauce, a different iteration of that sauce. I do like a kung pao, a Sichuan style, if you will, pork belly. So I take your traditional pork belly like you do a pork belly, but then instead of the barbecue sauce that you finish it in and set the glaze, you make like a Sichuan sauce with really nice, brilliant aromatics, the ginger, the garlic, the green onion, the peanuts, that tight brown sauce, and it's really good, and it looks beautiful as well. So and there's stuff in between. I do some Greek stuff, some Mediterranean. I play my current hometown, despite the background at the moment, is Louisville, Kentucky. And in Louisville, they're famous for a lot of things. So one of the recipes I do is I reinterpret a hot brown sandwich, and I make it a hot brown stuffed pork loin. So I take this big, beautiful pork loin, butterfly it, pound it out. I put in all the stuff like a bechamel sauce and bacon and tomato, and I wrap it up, and then I cover it with a good rub, and I cook it in a smoker. And the thing, you slice it, and it comes out just amazing. It looks beautiful. It's a great centerpiece for the table and perfect for your Kentucky Derby party this May.
Yep. That's awesome.
That's fantastic. The surgeon I work with, he did his fellowship in Louisville. So every day after Thanksgiving, he's texting me with pictures of his hot brown sandwiches that he made with his leftover turkey and everything. So I'm looking forward to that one too. Absolutely.
As a total side, go ahead. Sorry.
Those mint juleps, man, you lose your underwear quick.
Yeah, I learned. So here's a little backstory about that. So when I first met Debbie, Mrs. Buddha, and we were dating, I would always come back to Louisville for Derby time because her family, she has like an extended family of 75 people in Louisville, cousins, uncles, aunts, the whole thing, second cousins, right? And no matter what, every year everybody descends back on Louisville to go to Oaks the day before the Derby and Derby. It's a weekend of just races and fun. So I started participating with that. And I learned very early on to pace myself, because you all know me. You all talk very nicely. We cook with you. It's fun in festivals. But you also know me. I like to drink and smoke cigars and really have a good time. And so here I am at the Kentucky Derby, and everybody's drinking bourbon and having fun at like 8 in the morning when you first get there. And so the first couple of years, the first year I made it to like noon. And then the second year I made it to like 2 o'clock. Now I pace myself. I can make it the whole day. But at the beginning, I used to not pace myself very much, and it would take myself out. It'd be bad. It was bad.
Well, you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
Yeah, but when you start drinking bourbon, like Mel was saying, you start drinking mint juleps at 8 in the morning, I defy anybody to get past noon on that one. I mean, that's bologna sandwiches won't lay a foundation to absorb that much.
Well, we did that virtual Kentucky Derby this year, right? And honestly, I've had 2 mint juleps in my entire life. And I had like 17 before I went live, right? And that was a beautiful train wreck right there. The wife was like, "Are you going to be okay?" I'm like, "I'm sure I will be." She's like, "You didn't say yes or no there." I'm like, "Yeah, we'll be fine. Like, this carry through." That was, and then after that, I was like, "Hey, you guys must have some secrets up your sleeve, because that's."
Yeah, it's pacing. It's wedging. I've learned to wedge. You start light, now it's the White Claws. You like the White Claw. My daughter, you get into light. But I just heard somebody asked me this the other day. Have you ever mixed a White Claw vodka? And I was like, that is brilliant and terrifying simultaneously. It is like a horrible thing to think about. But it's brilliant at the same time. Make a mixed drink like a vodka soda with White Claw.
Yeah. So this weekend has been a fun, and I don't even want to read the comments about it or nothing, but this weekend was a fun learning curve for me, making our Caesars or your Bloody Marys, but you want it light because you want to drink a lot of them, and you want to double it up with either gin or vodka or even sneak some tequila in there. Well, throw a can of White Claw in there to add that little bit of carbonation.
All right, so there you go.
And we're
simpatico.
Everyone's staring at me. They're like, "You're adding liquor to liquor?" I'm like, "Yes." And then I'm gonna hit some more liquor with the liquor, and everything's gonna be. And it just worked seamlessly because now you can't taste the fruit. Oh, so nice.
Well, so you use the
tomato juice. The vitamin C is offsetting it all.
That's it. And me, I got like the Heartbeat hot sauce in there, and I got the barbecue rub. I do it all right. I mix it right up. But then you got that mango White Claw just to lift it up a bit, give it that freshness with your lime, and all of a sudden, a little splash of pickle juice, right? Just keep it honest. And that Caesar's now on fire, man.
That might be the best comment ever from Jer.
I can't read. I don't have my glasses on.
I've seen Mel drink himself sober.
I've been there.
That's a true story, actually.
I'm going to make a test here, and I bet I'll fail. But my daughter, Foods with Jessica, and Mrs. Buddha said they were going to watch this inside. And so if they're watching this live right now, I'm out of bourbon. Bring me a refill. So we'll see. If that door opens up in the next 5 minutes and they bring this out, then we are all on the same page. If they don't, I might have to go in there and take you with me.
Fantastic.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Well, Buddha. I've always
another thing about the book. Oh, go ahead.
Where does your Asian style influence come from?
Good question.
It is a good question. I don't know if anybody's picked up on this, but my daughter is, I don't know if the term is correct, so forgive me if I misuse the correct term, biracial. Her mother is Korean. And I'm not Korean. I'm me. And
I had noticed that. I had noticed that.
Yeah. So I developed my one really regret from that period of my life is my mother-in-law at the time, and she still is, an amazing Korean cook. Homemade kimchi, homemade dubujjigae, homemade, all the stuff, all the banchan, everything that you learned about Korean barbecue, kalbi, bulgogi, she knew it all. And she would make it all. And back then I was cooking some, but I wasn't as into it as I am now. And now, as an older person, a more wise person, I have to think back on the thing I wish I had done more than just eat for food. Yeah. That I sat and learned that at the time, because it was like the real deal. But yeah, so I really learned an affinity for Korean food through Jessica's mother and that influence. My dad owned restaurants. My dad's passed, but when I was growing up, he owned restaurants in the Washington, D.C. area. And a lot of his staff, and particularly the kitchen staff and the busboy staff, was Thai. So when I was like really a little kid, which is unusual for most little kids, I was exposed to and developed a really taste for Thai food, curries and the basil and lime and coconut milk and all of that. So those flavors have always been really important to me. And then to turn that around into iterations of barbecue has been a great journey. It's been fun. Well, so that's the answer.
That's fantastic. So you kind of grew that affinity for it. You grew the appreciation for it. And then you kind of had to go back and kind of reverse engineer it, because, you know, like you said, at that point in time, you didn't have the affinity for cooking, but you had the affinity for eating it. So once you,
I know how it makes me feel, and I know what the flavors are, and I'll never do as well as her. Harmony, that means grandmother in Korean. I'll never do as well as her, but it's that, and you all know this. We share this. This is why we do this. Passion for food. It's that striving to recreate that food memory that's so important, that it makes it fun. Maybe this time it wasn't as good, but I'm always like, oh man, that needed more vinegar, that needed more sugar, that needed more umami, whatever. And then I want to try it again. So that's what I love about all this stuff. And it's really a respect for those cultures that really found its way into my style of cooking. Those cultures, well, every culture really, I was going to try to excuse it, but bonding and food and family time is so important. And that's what's really important. That's why I love cooking, and that's why I love sharing recipes of cooking with everybody, is that bonding. You know, hey, you want to get to know me? Don't take me out to play golf. Let's go out to eat lunch. Sure, let's go to dinner. That's the type of relationship I like to foment with other people.
But I'll tell you what, for my 40th birthday, for lunch today, I went by myself downtown to a tiny little hole-in-the-wall hot pot.
Yeah.
And I ate a 6-course hot pot, spicy Sichuan broth, and just pummeled my guts like you wouldn't believe, with octopus, squid, lamb balls, like you name it, man. The whole works was there. Tripe. Big tripe, little tripe, honeycomb tripe, and
Were you with your friends, or were you just solo? You, the hot
me
pot.
and the hot
pot.
Me and a hot pot.
The person filling the hot pot.
And I pounded it, man. And you beads of sweat, right? And I'm the guy. I get the 3 times spicy Sichuan broth, and then I get the red peppers, the fresh red peppers, and I mix it with cilantro, and that red chili oil, right? And then I do a separate one with the hoisin to kind of put the fire out. But everything's like hot on hot on hot with all the red peppers and the oils and the.
And some of that type of hot doesn't get you until like several minutes later. All of a sudden you're like, oh man! I mean,
4 hours later,
the engine room is right. You're like,
or hours later when you have a bourbon and all of a sudden you're like, whoa.
Oh yeah.
Whoa. That's why they were all staring at me eating like that. Yeah.
I ate at this restaurant. I found this place here in downtown St. Pete near us where we are. And it's like Hawker, I think is the name of it. I'm not selling anything. I've just happened to I'm trying to remember. It was Asian street food was the theme of the restaurant. And we did edamame. And I've had edamame a kabillion times, you know, when you're waiting for your sushi, right? But they had this edamame with this like garlic chili oil that they put on top of the edamame. Oh, Lordy. It was so good. It was so simple. You know, it was just garlic chili oil, but a really good version of garlic chili oil on this edamame, and you were eating it, sucking the garlic chili oil, drink a beer. It was a wonderful eating experience.
Well,
I like to get motivated by that. I'll go out and have a meal like that, and then I want to turn it into something.
Yeah.
Like I'll do that sauce on Brussels sprouts or something, which would be killer.
Yeah. Well, that finishing move that you picked up in that one dish will now change the way you grill carrots for the rest of your life, or something like that. And that's why I'm always off the wall any chance I get. I want to see what else they got, what else they're doing. I'll have a little plate of this, a little plate of that, because I'm always looking for that extra edge, which you can then transfer to something else and make it a whole new thing. And I love that. I have such an appreciation for that. And yeah,
I'm going to do an octopus, and I'm going to do some squid calamari. In fact, I might even do it tomorrow just because I'm talking about it now, but I'm not.
Do it.
You want to know another crazy idea? Tell me how crazy this is, and it might light a seed here, or this might be shut down right here. But I have a 48 ounce. What is that? Like a 4-pound, 5-pound tomahawk ribeye in the fridge from Snake River Farms.
Go on.
And okay, listen. Here's my idea. And everybody's seen it. You do the drilling through the thing. You hang it. No offense to it, but I mean. You do it cowboy style, you do it caveman style. I mean, there's really, it's an awesome thing to cook and serve to your guests. But for social media, people have seen it, right? Yep. So here's my thought on displaying it and getting the best bang for the buck. I'm going to have an Instagram live event. Oh, by the way, Instagram just released Instagram
4-way
chat rooms. Yeah. So FYI. Anyway. But here's my idea. Plan it and say Barbecue Buddha is going to and everybody's done the hot chip challenge. I'm not going to do anything new to the hot chip challenge that anybody hasn't done, right? But nobody sat live on Instagram Live and given themselves 1 hour to eat a 5-pound steak. And I'm going to do that.
Yes.
I'm going to eat a 5-pound steak live in an hour. And if I do something, we'll come up with something. And if I don't, we'll come up with something. But that's my idea. What do you think? Is it crazy?
I fully support this idea. I fully support it.
You have to eat the gristle.
Say that again?
You have to eat the gristle because John Candy has
I'll eat everything aside from the bone.
I fully support everything you're talking about right now. This is the part that irks me. I did that 96 ounce, right? And I had everybody asking that kind of shit, right? Anytime I put up a burger, they're like, "Okay, so you took a couple bites out of it. I want to see you finish it." I'm like, come on, man. I took it apart and took it for lunch. Like, who's going to sit there and eat all of that? That's crazy. Like, I'm not a pig.
That's what I'm saying. I doubt I can eat a 5-pound steak, but don't you think it would be compelling live?
No, you have to. Make
if you're doing it live, I'm making everybody tune in to watch me house a 5-pound steak. Debbie's like, I asked Mrs. Buddha, I said, do you think I could do it? She said, oh, you could definitely do it. You'll hate yourself afterwards.
Yeah.
She's like, you'll be miserable for several days afterwards. But I was like, hey, I do it for the gram.
Earlier in the day, you have to, show us you doing your 3-mile run, maybe hitting some weights, just kind of getting ready for it.
Yeah.
Have you noticed they're the very same picture that I just post every time? It's trying to, you've got your Peloton club. I've just got to show a 25-pound barbell every now and again. Make people think I'm offsetting all this eating.
Every time I see your weight posts, I swear. Every single time. I'm like,
You know what it is? You know what the weight post is? I'm at the gym for the prerequisite 20 minutes I do every 3 days. I'm old, man. I need to have gravity not take hold. I'm not looking to be Johnny B. I just don't want to give up totally. So I go do the bare minimum at the gym. And when I'm there, I'm on my phone checking, shit out. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'll take a picture of them at the gym because now it motivates me to go back to the gym and take another picture.
Yeah.
It doesn't motivate me to go to the gym and lift more weights. It motivates me to go and take a picture. And I'm assuming I'll lift a little weights while I'm there. So it's positive all the way around.
Well, like we were talking about earlier with the negative comments, just being thankful, right? My negative comments on my pig posts are definitely pushing me to maybe start working out a little bit. Because all the people from South America are like, oh, look, you are what you eat. Hey, buddy. Like, what do you say to that? Okay, fine. All right, well, I
have a long-standing thing. I don't trust a skinny chef.
No, man.
I trust them. I don't want them to cook for me. I know there's plenty out there. It's the nouveau chic, you know, the skinny in shape chef, all that type of stuff. I want somebody that practices a Mario Batali. I want to see a guy that looks like he actually has a full beard, but his head is so big and his neck is so big, it looks like
that tight beard.
Mustache, but it's actually a full beard. Right? You're like, Mario Batali, what's up with your face? And his like beard's all scrunched up around his nose. You're like, dude. And I'm probably mispronouncing his last name. I apologize to my Italian fan base out there.
I love it. I absolutely and I agree with that, man. Anytime when I was a kid, that was how it was with everything. Everywhere you went, you saw the chubby guy in the back. This was one of my big things with dim sum. Right? The very first time a lady stopped, I ordered chicken feet at dim sum, and she's like, "Oh, you're not going to like it." And then I pointed to my belly, and I looked at her. I said, "I'm here for flavor." She's like, "Okay." And then she just and she knew right away. She's like, "Okay, you've had the chicken feet before. I can tell, because you don't get skinny eating chicken feet. You get fat eating chicken feet. It is what it is. They're flavor bombs with like little sticks inside. They're beautiful." So, yeah.
Did you had me at chicken feet? I mean, pickled chicken feet. I want to do a pickled chicken feet topping for like a taco. A taco with pickled chicken feet. Pickle jalapeno so yesterday. Give me pickled chicken feet on top of my taco. Radish. Everybody does sliced radish. Give me a pickled chicken foot.
Yeah, that's no, man. You're onto something there too. I love when people put the tongue videos up now, and they're like, "Hey, are you grossed out? Hey," and I'm like, "I know you're making good tacos. I don't know. What do you?" We're past it now. Dude, the internet has ran with that tongue.
It gets a ooh-ah, but if somebody knows what they're doing with the tongue, that's some of my favorite beef taco ever. You get a legit little Mexican taco stand that knows how to treat tongue and get the flavor out of it. It's the bomb. But I don't want to see the whole big tongue getting sliced up. I just think about a mutilated Gene Simmons, and it's disturbing.
No, that's when they're taking their time to make a presentation of it. I'm like, just bite it. I'd like to see you just pick it up and bite it. Oh, you won't do that? Oh, well then, why are you making everybody else do that? Just cook the tacos. Put the tacos up. Like, what do you?
If I cook a tongue, and now this may be another challenge, I'll put butcher twine through it and then strap it to my head like a GoPro. I'll just have the smoked beef tongue coming out of my head and down in front of my face. I'll look like, one of those guys from Clockwork Orange.
Or you'll look like one of the guys that.
Right.
When I was a kid, Mom used to do a pig roast every year where all the family and friends would come around and they'd do the pig roast. And I pulled the skin off it once and I wore it like a mask. And I ran around, right?
Oh, you got the intact skin off the head?
I slipped it right off. Slipped it right off, and I put it. And there's a picture of me running around, right, bare bellied, running around with this pig head on my head, right, and the snow.
Why isn't that your profile picture?
It could be. That's the first. That's the first thing I said to Lisa. I'm like, if I put this on Instagram, I bet you I wouldn't have an Instagram. it's that easy, just like that. Sorry, you've been deleted. Oh, okay. That's
it was a good ride.
Yeah.
It was a good ride.
No, but I love it. I absolutely love tongue is fantastic. I like to eat it. I don't like to look at it. Chicken feet though, I don't care.
Chop it up and put it on a tortilla. And chicken feet I eat crab claws. It's no different.
Yep.
Right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Oh, looks.
Have you like Jim Gaffigan?
Yes.
Yes.
He does a whole bit on Maryland crabs and how they're just, why does everybody like Maryland crabs? They're just spiders that live under the sea. Sorry, I was trying to. It's a crab claw joke that went south. Sorry, guys. You are the host. You're supposed to say your guest. You can't let your guest tank. You have to be ready with the next question So when I fall off the edge, you are protecting me with the net.
I'm waiting to see an iguana fall out of a tree behind you right now. That's what I'm waiting.
Iguana
So
tacos?
there's no iguanas, but you know what? There are a boatload of geckos.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, of all shapes and sizes. And I thought for sure Mrs. Buddha, and my biggest worry moving down here with the dogs wasn't the heat, because we figured they'd self-serve and go put themselves in the cool environment when it's too hot. But we thought, especially Obi, was going to go nuts chasing around all the geckos and eat geckos. And we were researching, can dogs eat geckos and all this stuff. They could care less about the geckos. There's tons of geckos, but the dogs don't seem to be fazed by geckos.
Can they catch them?
Sure.
The
They're
little
little
guys.
things that crawl around everywhere. There's so many geckos here in Florida. Literally, a quarter of them try to sell you weed.
Those are not geckos. Those are teenagers.
They're Jamaican geckos. They're
Oh,
like
I
the
think we're
Geico
talking about
commercial.
different things here.
Just I'm like, is that a gecko crawling across my porch, or is he trying to sell me a dime bag? What's going on with this guy?
Up here, they're looking for empty cans.
What was that?
Going back to edamame with chili oil. So dishes like that.
I'll tell you what, cook a gecko and it'll take the place of a pickled chicken foot.
There you go.
A pickled fried gecko. Tempura fried gecko pickled.
No. I love
No?
Cookbook
Think
number 2.
about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Book number 2. There you go.
Book number 2. Shit, you didn't think
fried gecko.
Yeah. Shit, you didn't think you'd see volume 1. That's it.
So just remember, to get another shameless plug, you can pre-order now if you go to the BBQBUDDHA.com, thebarbecuebuddha.com. Across the top of my page, it'll say book. Check out the book here. You click on it, shows you a bunch of cool quotes from people I got quotes and endorsements from, tells you a little bit about the book, has an incredibly handsome picture of myself, if I must say so. They had chin tucks and lighting and the makeup. It was a whole thing, but it's a really good picture. But the most important thing is you could click on any of those links at Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and you can pre-order the book. If you pre-order the book, it'll be great. Not only that, but coming soon, within the next 2 weeks, and I want to get you all involved with this as well, I'm doing an amazing giveaway. So all of my sponsors, I've got it's basically like the Barbecue Buddha Survival Kit. It's going to be the compendium for the book. Essentially, you win the giveaway. You get a big green egg mini max in the stand and the whole kit with the charcoal and the little mini max thing. You get a bunch of Snake River Farms gold grade steaks, the best American Wagyu on the market. You get a whole suite of Dizzy Pig rubs. I've got Bull's Wood with a cutting board. I've got Flame Boss with a Flame Boss for the grill that you're using. So it's going to be a huge giveaway. It gets the word out. I really appreciate all the pre-orders. I really appreciate all the support. It's really a communal thing, the barbecue life, the one grill sort of community that we're all part of. And I'm glad that I just have had any voice in it at all. It still tickles me pink that I get to talk to guys like you and do the type of stuff that we do. It's awesome. There's no one's a loser when you're grilling stuff and creating recipes. No one's a loser, except for maybe the dogs that don't get to eat any of it. They may be bombed.
And that's fantastic. I mean, honestly, I pre-ordered it a long time ago. So if you haven't, get on that, because like we said, it's not just recipes that you're going to be bombarded with. It's the narrative, the how-to, the actual fundamentals or pillars that you can base, not only the recipes that he's given you in this book, but any future recipes that you might want to develop, or, you can apply a lot of those fundamentals to any cook. It doesn't have to be a recipe from the book that he gives you. It can be something that you can apply on something that you're going to make up on your own based on these traditional fundamentals that you provide.
Yeah, and it's really good. It's really just sharing knowledge. I hope that the recipes give people value, and nothing against the book. It's all recipes. But I'm also hoping some of these questions that I sought to answer for myself, think about the first part of the book as a great research project that Uncle Buddha went on to figure out all of these questions I always have about why does this work this way and why doesn't it work that way. And then I try to explain it in a common sense term so anybody could, so you don't have to go Google it and research yourself. I'm putting it all in one place and putting my spin on it. It means the world to me that anybody would read it and get anything out of this. And I'm pretty proud of the work. The photography, I think, was pretty good. I also had the opportunity to do the photographs myself. I love food photography. I love videography. And I love cooking. So all those three things really combine in this book, except for the videography, but I threw that in there because, hey, we're on video.
That's right. And one of the things that I love about it too is, I've been able to glance at a few of the recipes that you're going to be including in the book, and it's not just your typical recipes. It's your typical recipes with the Buddha spin on it. You're adding, like you said, your pork belly burnt ends. You're not just doing barbecue pork belly burnt ends. You're giving it that Szechuan style to it. That's going to give it that just different flavor. The flavor that you're not going to see everywhere else. The flavor that you're kind of adding to it on your own. Your sweet and sour chicken wings. Your zesty lime and garlic spatchcock chicken, which is one that honestly, one of my all-time favorite cooks is a spatchcock chicken. I think that's one of the most basic. What's that?
And this one is really interesting. I put in East and West influences in it. There's some Asian stuff in that one. There's some Frenchy type stuff in that one. It's kind of a new world meets old world that really works. And when you stick it like that picture, and I'll show the picture, so I have in, and I'll continue to do so. The skin is like crispy and dark, and it's got that umami flavor from the soy sauce, but you got the brightness from the lemon and the tarragon. It is a really, really good dish. It's different. It's different than your normal thing, but it's not too far out of the realm. And I try not to. Anytime I put in an ingredient that may be hard to find, like Sichuan peppers, which you can order off of Amazon, or gochujang, etc. If you don't have that in parentheses, I'll say you can use this as a substitute. So I let you get as gourmet and foodie as you want to with this book, but I also give you some examples of how to do it. I even do I wanted to do with jerk something because I like my jerk marinade, and I've done wings. And one of the things with the book is you had to come up with all original recipes. Couldn't be on your Instagram. Couldn't be. So, I blurred the lines a little bit. I would borrow ideas from here. And one of those things I did was I did a Aaron Franklin style smoked turkey breast where he does it in the butter, and you get that really just collagenous, just smoked awesome. But it's marinated in jerk marinade first. So it's a smoked Aaron Franklin's Texas style jerk turkey breast. Oh my God, it is redonkulous how good it is. And it's simple and it's awesome. And that's in the book. And that's not one of the recipes I was supposed to talk about, but here I talked.
Are you talking like a wet jerk, blended scallions,
ginger, Scotch bonnet peppers? Oh yeah, you gotta do it. Lime, brown sugar, the whole thing, and then you marinate the turkey breast in it overnight, and then you smoke it, and then you finish it wrapped with the butter, and it comes out juicy and emollient and fragrant and bright, and it shreds. Oh my God. I took this thing after we did it after the photo shoot, and then we sliced it up, and we had like sandwiches for days. It makes the best turkey meat sandwiches. Simple idea. Everybody has a good jerk recipe. I like my jerk recipe. That's one of the things you'll see in the book. It's a good book. I like the book. I'm proud of it.
If I didn't buy it already, I'd buy it now, just for that right there.
Yeah, and I appreciate everybody that has bought it and will buy it. And I'm back in Louisville on May 8th. I'm doing a book signing, 2 book signings, and one day at Mesa Collaborative Kitchen in Southern Indiana. It's just right outside of Louisville. I'm hoping to do a book signing in Northern Virginia at Disney Pig Barbecue in Manassas. And who knows? If the book catches fire, I'll be all over the world. If it doesn't, I'll be, hawking barbecue pork sandwiches at the local Shell station.
Nice.
Well, either way.
I love Shell. Shell has great octane in their gas. We're big fans of Shell up here.
Are you aware of Wawa?
We're not allowed to talk about narcotics on this show.
Wawa is a chain of gas stations that has a great sandwich and snack bar. And Meat Stick, James from Meat Stick Barbecue told me about it. He was so excited. He made the road trip down with me and Mrs. Buddha from Louisville because he had that week off on vacation. And he's like, let's go on a road trip. We drove down. And when we got to Florida where there were Wawas, we ate several Wawa sandwiches. This is no endorsement of Wawa. I was just trying to get a little talk about gas stations. I said Shell. Now I'm saying Wawa. It's falling on deaf ears. So let's move to the next subject. Let's talk about bouillon, beef bouillon. I
had to throw one up for Shell because we have a Shell upgrader about 6 miles away from my house. So we produce a lot of that fine 94 octane gas right here in my neck of the woods here. So
yeah, the oil sands are a big deal.
That's it. That's yeah, 7-Eleven style. Yeah, that's.
I'll take the chimichanga with some extra oil sand on top.
I'll never. So my old foreman, he was popped in here for a minute, just said happy birthday, but I'll never forget. One of the millwrights came in with a big thing of sushi one morning. He was hungover to fuck, right? And I looked at that sushi. I'm like, oh no. And he's like, no, I've eaten this before. It's not it. And the foreman was standing there. He's like, hey Mel, what's going on with his sushi? I'm like, it's gas station sushi. This isn't gonna end. And he was like, yeah.
Another great band name, Gas Station Sushi. I would see that band sight on. I would not need to hear one song. They name themselves Gas Station Sushi. They've got to be awesome. I will see that band.
Yeah, I just saw the 7-Eleven comment and instantly I was like, oh yeah, remember that time that kid tried to kill himself? Yeah, that's
just dangerous. That's just dangerous. So, Buddha, I'm interested in hearing a little bit about your writing process for this book. You know, like you said, you had to sit down and do recipes that you didn't have on your blog. So it's not like you could just scroll through and say, okay, I'm going to take my greatest hits. It's stuff that you kind of developed with this specifically in mind. How did you do it?
So it's a great question, and I'm not pandering, but I've got to give Mrs. Buddha a tremendous amount of credit. I'm the artiste. She is the great infrastructure around the artiste. And when I got all the requirements from the book, because they give you a contract, you have to have this many words, and you have to have this by this date, these pictures by this date, and this recipe by that date. They don't tell you what to do. They just give you deadlines, so you're working towards some deadline. And for me, being a super ADD person, I'm like, oh my God, I got to do it all in one day. And she looked at it all, and she got me on a schedule, and it was, and I don't want to make it sound rote or mechanical because it wasn't that, but she would be like, on this day, you need to go in your room for like 3 hours and just write. And here it's the first chapter, right? And by that point, we agreed on the chapters and what the fundamental were. And, I pitched my idea, blah, blah, blah. So now I had basically the outline. She organized the outline, and then I would just go lock myself into my office for like 4 or 5 hours and just create and write and create and write. I'd send it to my daughter, who's awesome with recipes and all that kind of stuff. I'd give it to Debbie, Mrs. Buddha. They'd read it. They'd make grammatical errors or suggest, I don't understand this. I'm a layman. I don't understand this inside baseball discussion about barbecue. Explain it for the layman. And I did all of that before it ever hit the editor at the publisher. So by the time I got to the publisher, it was really just really small, pedantic things, and it made it go really fast. And because I wasn't constantly worried about I had to do this whole thing, I just knew on this day I had to do the small section. It really brought the best out of me. So again, without pandering to my old lady, my love of my life, Mrs. Buddha, that process helped me out so much. It made me calm and able to create instead of freaking out, panicking. I had to do all this at once. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So by splitting it up, instead of developing writer's block or that panic from saying, okay, I got to come up with these 48 recipes, it's daunting. But when you get it and you say, okay, I have to come up with this one recipe, I can do that.
But the writing in the book was the challenge. When it came to the recipes, what I did is I basically, we agreed with the publisher. For this book, because it's about smoking, I'm not going to do appetizers. I'm not going to do desserts. So this isn't like a book that has like the grilled appetizer, though there are some things in there that you could turn into appetizers. It's really into 3 sections around food, 4, if you will. It's around beef, it's around pork, and it's around chicken. And then I go into like other techniques, like I do a sous vide recipe, I do a hot and fast recipe, I do a jerky recipe, and that chapter's talking about the other ways you could smoke: cold smoking, warm smoking, hot smoking. And then when it came to the recipes, like I knew I wanted to get X amount, and then I would break it down. This is where like my IT background, I'd be like, well, I want this many ribs, and I want this many like pork loin or tenderloin, and this many pork butt or boss shoulder. And I broke it down, and then I just started. I always keep a notebook with ideas, and I just started calling ideas, and I would plug in and do recipe development, and that's kind of how it worked. It was a tight timeline, and in a weird way, and I hate to say this because it's terrible, but if it wasn't for COVID, it would have been impossible. Well, not impossible, it would have been really hard to have created all this content for the book and do all the other stuff that we typically do, travel around, do the egg fest, do this, do that, do the classes, do all that kind of stuff, and write a book. COVID was in a weird way for me and the recipients of the book, kind of a blessing because I could focus, because when I was doing the whole meat of the book was during quarantine, like the real serious quarantine where nobody was going anywhere. And so those things helped.
That's awesome, man. That's solid.
So I know your book, you focus on using 3 different styles of grill. The Kamado grill, Big Green Egg, pellet grill, Traeger, and then the Weber Smoky Mountain more, that charcoal, vertical type grill.
Right.
Are the recipes specific to one type of grill, or do you kind of break it down to saying, hey, if you're doing this on this, set your grill up this way. If you're doing it on a Traeger, it's just this temperature. I mean, I know a lot of the grills are kind of interchangeable.
Yeah, but that's a really good question. I appreciate you. We did not coordinate this. That was a great question, Chris. And that was one thing I wrestled around with a lot, because the first pass of the book, every recipe, I was like, well, if you're on a Traeger, this is how you set it up, and this is what you do here, and this is how you change the temperature. And if you're on and I was like, it's not 41 recipes, it's 120 recipes. And I was like, This is ridiculous. So I went back and I created in one of the 4 fundamentals where I talk about temperature control. In that chapter, I break down, if you're doing hot and fast, here's how you do it on a Traeger, here's how you do it on a Weber, here's how you do it on a Big Green Egg. If you do it, so I find all these categories and then went through the how-to there. And then in the recipe, you just reference back that. So if the recipe is, hey, you cook the chicken hot and fast, if you're a Traeger griller, you just reference the hot and fast section of the fundamental, et cetera, et cetera. Does that make sense? There's a little more onus on the reader to have to go back to look at that, but it's less cumbersome also to have all of that information for one recipe. It allows you, and my hope is by the time you get to the recipes, you've learned why this is the way you're doing it on this particular grill, and you've learned something. So in essence, you don't even need to go back to that chapter. You've kind of learned it, and whatever grill you're cooking on, you know how to implement it during that cook.
Yeah. Well, that's neat.
Yeah.
And also, you'll know if you're a Traeger guy and that's what you're using, you'll know that that's, after reading the fundamentals of it, you'll know that that's what you're looking for in that recipe.
Exactly.
So you'll have adapted to each one. You'll be looking for that before you even see it. So that is good. That is really good.
Right, and like on a Traeger, if you have to do a reverse sear, it's the same thing. It's just the timing variants are different. And everybody that's a Traeger griller knows that if you cook it at 250 for until the internal temp is this, and then you rest it while the Traeger gets up to that. It's the same thing as if you're on a big green egg. I'm not going to give anybody time examples because what I go on earlier in the book is here's why time is a variable that you don't want to pay attention to a lot. People put it in recipes as a rubber baby bumper to sort of give you parameters of what to think about, but you're not looking for time, you're looking for temp and feel. And that's what I really want to impart on everybody is that's it. And so this is how you can get the environment in a Traeger setup like this and in a Weber and in a big green egg.
No, I've been so upset with the time topic. I've gotten like so angry about the time topic now because it still comes up on daily conversations and people want to know how long I'm going to do a brisket for. Now I'm like between 5 and 15 hours.
Yeah.
And anywhere in there,
for
it
me,
depends on.
Every brisket is totally different. It's ridiculous to try to. I mean, I talk you through. I use the brisket as an example of like the finish, and I walk you through a whole brisket cook. But I also give you it could be 1 to 4 hours for this phase. These are the things you need to look for to know when it's 1 or 4.
Yeah.
But this is what happens during that process. Here's why you wrap. Not, it's easy to communicate as barbecue chefs wrap at 165, but then they do it and their bark is all runny and streaky. And they're like, well, it didn't really. Well, why do you make that decision? When do you make the decision to wrap? How do you know when the bark is set? Well, why are you wrapping with paper versus foil? What are the benefits of each? Why do you do it fat side up versus fat side down? I don't want to impart religion on people. And I'm also not doing Mythbusters. So I'm just kind of saying, here's my experience. These are the types of things that worked for me. And here's why I believe you do this here and you do that there, but make your own decision.
Yeah. Doug's barbecue
learn
just got
and
banned.
make your.
Say 3, 2, 1 ribs again. Say 3, 2, 1 ribs again. That's you just got the hammer. That's it. Here's
my dirty secret about 3, 2, 1 ribs. 2 hours is too long to wrap ribs.
100%.
Every single
100%.
time I've wrapped ribs for that long, they're mushy and terrible. You never get the bark. You never get the rib set.
Yeah.
They don't cut right. You don't cut through.
You can flip the bones out of them. You can just flip the bones right out just by flicking it. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but you can use wrap strategically. Why and when? That's what I try to explore.
No, that's so you see guys holding the tongs and you see that arch of that beautiful rack of ribs. Half the time they wrapped it for like a half an hour or didn't wrap it at all. And you see that beautiful bend in it. That's the thing. It all depends.
The key.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
But anyway, the fun part is all of us learning. And you know what's another really good thing about the last year? So many new people have joined our community. All these people now that are working from home and have had time to learn and do this thing that's always been like on the weekend for them, and now they've discovered Instagram. I love all these people. I love this energy that's in our community. And I love it when somebody writes and really asks, hey, I bought a Snake River Farms thing. It was $80 and I don't want to screw it up. How should I do it? And you kind of give them, but you don't give them an exact recipe. You kind of give them your philosophy. And then the next day they send you a DM with like the video. Man, my family loves this. Great. To me, that's the most fulfilling. That's the most rewarding thing. It's great that people like me and the Barbecue Buddha, but the reason why you like me is because you nailed this awesome dish, steak technique or whatever for your family, and you look like the hero. That's what I'm all about, and that's what my book's about, and that's what. Sorry, I just wanted to see my face really big in the camera.
I love it. I love it. No, I do. I love it. That's exactly. That's no, and that was one of the big things when I did my Big Green Egg Live, right? Like that was one of the things I was pushing is it doesn't matter what I do. What matters is like what people are picking up in the community. And it's people like you and your book, Chris, like everybody. We're all building a thing. And if everybody pays attention to the positives and reads between the lines and learns to do your own legwork, like, food is not going to suck for anybody anymore.
You want to know the big tip? Some of the interviews I've done for this book, everybody's like, what's the big tip from your book? And you've heard it from other pit masters. You'll hear it from me. Keep a journal. Write a journal. Write what you did. Keep it. If you have to sit there for 12 hours while something's cooking, I mean, you might not be sitting there, but if you have to be thinking about a dish for 12 hours, get a journal. Write down. What did you do here? What did you do there? What did, learn when you do 30 minutes wrap versus 2 hours wrap. What's the difference? I'm going to try it this way. Keep a journal. You'll teach yourself and you will become so empowered that you too will write a book called The 5 Fundamentals of Smoking and totally eclipse my book. But until then, it's The 4 Fundamentals of Smoking, and buy it April 6th. At a bookseller near you.
Or, Buddha, we will learn by Mel's journal that he really likes to draw private parts after 3 bourbons in the journal. Doing all kinds of things with capes and wings and horns and things, and that's what we learned about that quickly. Is that
what was that? What? Yeah, I was just trying to think what that movie was. All right. Well, look, guys. My headphones are telling me I'm running out of juice, so I'm probably going to be disappearing here soon.
All right, brother. We know the Cinderella story in Florida. I know.
Yeah, but look, you would think, most people would think, if I was Jack Arnold, you would think I would be taking off my shirt and going and swimming in that pool. The minute I get up, I'm going to drink a glass of milk.
Yep.
I'm going to brush my teeth, and I'm going to go to sleep. And I'm probably going to be laying next to a French bulldog for most of the evening. That's the way it goes now.
Well, we thank you very much for coming on, brother, and we are super pumped.
You guys are awesome.
Super pumped for this.
Congrats on being an Apple podcast. That's a really big deal. I don't mean to keep harping on that, but that's a really big deal. So April 6th, buy my book now, buy my book then. I'll have autograph signing part of my book after April 6th because I'll be able to sell them on my website. I'll have a stash for my books when you see me at live events and do that. But until then, hit subscribe to Mel's YouTube channel, the Chris and Mel's After the Cook channel, and podcast. Give them a 5-star rating. They're the real deal. You all are going to look back at this as like an early podcast, like the Joe Rogan. Like, man, they're going to be huge. So please give them a like, a subscribe, and a 5-star.
Love you, Buddha. It's always a pleasure.
Love you guys.
Love you, buddy. Be safe. Be well.
Bye, Sham.
Can't wait to get that book in my hands.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
April 6th. Pre-order now. TheBBQBuddha.com.
This is where he moonwalks across that pool now. That's
fantastic.
Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, the BBQ Buddha. Fantastic.
Oh.
There we go.
I'm not gonna lie, I am pumped for that book. Like you get to see that, and again, his style of cooking. I think we're gonna get recipes that he's gonna give us sauces that don't necessarily have to be used with the recipe that he gives you.
Yeah.
I think it'll be awesome to be able to apply those sauces to other things. Stuff like his, bourbon glazed baby back ribs. You can use that for ribs. You can apply that to chicken wings.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Pork burnt ends. You can apply that to other things. So it'll be kind of cool just to get those, homemade sauces that you can apply to other things, and touch up on the fundamentals. It's just nice to see how other people think about it, because it might just change the way you think about something you cook.
Oh, and he's the kind of brother too that doesn't talk at you, and that's the big thing. That's why I love him. Honest to God, I spent 3 hours on a super highway with him, and we didn't know each other from a hole in the wall, and we talked about everything under the sun. Jack Black and Tenacious D. We talked about banking. We talked about politics, and it was nuts. And the guy is actually as humble as he comes across, and I'm sure his writing is going to be the exact same, and it's going to be like butter in your ear. It's going to be perfect. I can't wait.
Yeah,
I can't wait to read it.
It's going to come across as talking with a buddy, not a lecture.
Yeah, and that's what you need right there.
Right.
Let me tell you, man, I have been through my share of YouTube videos and my share of cookbooks, and I'm sick of being talked at about things that I already kind of know how to do. I am sick of it. I am sick of all of the milk crate prophets telling me what I already know. I'm sick of it. So this is going to be great. I can't wait.
We're going to go with just one more for you tonight.
Yeah, I still got a little half splash in here. Boom. Cheers, brother.
Oh,
fuck.
Come on.
The day I've had, man.
Oh.
Yeah, the day I've had. I'm not joking. I ate 5 gallons of hot pot today before I went to Red Lobster and ate the ultimate feast with sides and escargot and everything. Ugh, love it. I feel fantastic. This was a big day. Of nothing.
40 is no joke, especially with the life you've lived.
Yeah, that's the I don't know if it's happy or depressing yet or what, but that's okay. We're okay with it. We'll just keep on rolling. Just keep on rolling.
I think it's fantastic, but you got a lot to be happy for. You got a lot that you've built. Just in the walls around you. If you just look at that, what you built with your, with Lisa and Emily and Scarlett, you're a blessed man. For 40 years, you look back and it's no joke. You're still alive. Some of the stupid, crazy shit that we've done, and yet there's a woman who loves you. Kids that call you daddy.
Yep. Well, that was my joke this morning. I was saying to somebody, I think Big Green Jer, my parole officer said 25 max, so we're doing great. That's yeah.
Exactly. Oh.
Right on, brother.
So, what do you got going on this weekend? You got any cooks planned?
No, I've got. You ever seen The Hangover?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be doing that.
Right.
Yeah, I'll be doing that. So I will be eating at a steakhouse if we can secure it. We're having a hard time because of COVID. Our steakhouses are still closed, and the ones that are open aren't stocking big cuts like my Monster Tomahawk.
Mm-hmm.
So we're having a hard time securing a steakhouse that can provide us the epic Mel steak he needs, which is getting me a bit nervous now. But we've got the hotel room figured out. We've got all of that business figured out. So it's just it's just the steakhouse now is the big concern for me, but it'll all come together. Worst case scenario, I'll hook up a butcher and then take it to a steakhouse and be like, I'm sorry, but you have to cook this.
So in Wisconsin, and there's this chain called Prime Quarters. I'm not sure what other state they went to. You actually go there. In the middle, they have a big open fire grill, and you pick out your steak. And you cook your own steak.
Oh, wow,
you pay to cook your own steak at this restaurant.
That's crazy.
And they'll bring out the baked potato. The best part about it is they'd have Texas toast. So, that really thick bread, and they have like a bin of like melted butter. So you would just coat it in the melted butter. You would grill that and just put the seasoned salt on it. So you'd be snacking on that as you're grilling your steak. It's fantastic.
That's all.
I haven't been there in years, like since I was in high school. But now I imagine, I'd go there and I would just be like, okay, everybody, just bring me your steaks and I'll grill them for you.
That's the comment of the night right there, buddy. Every once in a while we have a show with a comment.
Yep.
Eat with me, XYZ. Will there be a tiger in the hotel room? You better well believe it, sweetheart. Hey? Yeah. Yeah.
There might not be a tiger, but there'll be a dump bear.
Yeah, for sure. Don't feed the dump bears, people. That's the...
Don't feed the dump bears.
Yeah, that's the one. Oh. Yeah, I kind of just want this birthday to be over at this point, but this weekend should be fun. Check my stories.
Ooh.
Hopefully I don't get on for a live, because Lisa's usually the one that shuts my phone off after a certain point. So without Lisa there, I don't know what's going to... Yeah, because she straight up said, she's like, don't come home.
Lisa,
make sure you get to the hotel.
The voice of reason.
Yeah, don't come home. So there's that. Yeah.
So next week will be coming up right before St. Patty's Day.
That's correct.
And
we have Zach.
Are you a corned beef guy?
So that's the same as pastrami. Corned beef is not big at all up here.
Yeah, well, no, corned beef and pastrami are a little different though. But corned beef is more of just the same meat. It's just not smoked. It's like boiled, or
Yeah.
it doesn't get
Steamed,
smoked. Yeah,
Poached. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. I haven't had a ton of it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not a huge corned beef fan.
Yeah.
But the pastrami,
Yeah.
give me a nice pastrami sandwich with mustard and pickles.
Yep.
And I'm good to go.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Fighting Irish are all over up here, man. They're it's a big deal. St. Paddy's Day is a big deal up here. So we'll see what happens.
Well, it's kind of a big deal here more than, I guess it's a big deal here because the bars will be open at 8 o'clock, so people enjoy that.
Yeah.
What's funny is that in Ireland, St. Patrick's Day is the exact opposite that it is here. Like, places are shut down. It's more of like a holy day. Things are quiet. Where, in Wisconsin, it's like, it's 8 o'clock. We're going out. We're drinking at the bars. Obviously not now because of COVID, but.
As far as I understand it, it is a day to celebrate the saint that got rid of the snakes from Ireland.
Exactly.
He freed Ireland from the snakes.
Right.
Well, I myself am a bit of a herpetologist. So I'm a big fan of reptiles, and that saint kind of sounds like a dick, so I don't mind drinking on his birthday. I don't mind it at all. That's yeah, that's I love it. It's a man. If you've ever partied with any true Irishmen, like right off their island Irishmen, they're crazy. Like, I'm not going to argue with them either way. Whatever they're into, whatever they're thinking it is, I'm going to just agree with them and keep drinking. Because that's how she goes, man. I know quite a few Irishmen, and they're different people. I love them.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. Right on, buddy. Well, this was fun.
Yeah.
So we got Zach Knightington on our next show.
Oh my God, from Magnum PI.
Magnum PI, the co-star of Magnum PI, will be on the show next week on Tuesday. And he's gonna be hailing from, I think, the Big Island of Hawaii. He lives out there now.
Oh.
And he is also a Big Green Egg fan. So he does a lot of cooks on the Big Green Egg out there in Hawaii. Oh, it's going to be deadly. It's going to be absolutely deadly.
That is fantastic. I have to move to Hawaii for work.
Yeah, man, yeah, I know. It's going to be deadly. And again, thank you everybody for checking us out. Look us up wherever you find podcasts. Yeah. Hopefully we're there. I don't know for sure where we're at, but I know we're on Apple. And we're on
Amazon. And remember, when you look us up on Apple, it's After the Cook Podcast. Add the podcast. It'll show up. Subscribe. Leave us a rating. That'll help other people find it easier.
Yes.
And please leave us a 5-star rating because that's going to help us. If you have an issue with us where you don't want to give us 5 stars, let us know.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? You don't have an issue with us, so don't worry about it. Exactly. This doesn't suck. You've been sitting through this for an hour and a bit already. Just mark 5 stars and move on. Get the next episode going.
Well, right now, 5 stars on Apple.
Well, and that's how it's going to be this whole time. Yeah. So don't be a jerk and make it less than that. Make it more than that. Tell your mom. Tell your mom to go download some episodes. Get her to mark 5 stars.
Take your neighbor phone. Take your child's phone. Go after it. Listen to us tomorrow. We'll have lots of stories. There's already 8.
It. Take us to work even. Do it. Just do it. It just makes sense. I would do it for you, and I would, so stop it. Just do it. Perfect.
Well, Mel, happy birthday, my friend. Happy 4-0.
Thank you. I'm going to go eat some kimchi right out of the jar now. And then go to bed.
A little stomach. All those probiotics will settle it for you.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like it. All right, brother. Thank you, everybody. This was awesome. Have a good night.